So let's talk about day 2 of the hearing. Yesterday, we didn't know. We talked yesterday. How long is this thing going to go? We know that now that it's at least going to be 2 days. There were reports yesterday that they expect this could go even beyond today. So perhaps
Mark
3 days.
Maskey of the Washington Post said he expects it to go on for a while.
Yeah.
I think we all just assumed it would wrap up. It fit with the timing of it being announced the Friday before the 4th of July.
And it still might happen.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's 3 days, even if it's 4 days, we could have that. So just quickly to sort of summate what we know. Not a lot of news was leaked about this, but there was one major tidbit that was leaked, and it was leaked to the Associated Press, and I'll get to that in a second. I don't think that was by accident. But the league leaked to the Associated Press that, quote, it's more likely to accept a 6 to 8 game suspension from Sue Robinson, who is the disciplinary officer, because it wants to avoid appeals, which could be a horrible situation for everyone. Very interesting. G. Bush, it looks like the league is blinking. Is that what we're seeing here?
Hey, listen, I think this is all part of the game. You know, when they talk about, hey, go ahead and take that little 1 year suspension, that was never going to be easy on the board. They understand this. And here's the thing. They might make a decision, but they want to make sure it looks like they're thorough. That's why when you look at 3 days, it's going to come out with some sort of judgment. No, this thing is a court proceeding. Like, I didn't think it was that in depth, but they at least, if they go 7-8 games or 7-8 days with coming back with a decision, at least they can come to people and say on both sides, look, we heard all the evidence. We heard both sides. He had an opportunity to come out here and prove his point or to say his bit. And now we come with this. The second thing I think is very important is they are well aware what the perception is. They are well aware that we said it a couple days ago. Sue Robinson looks like she don't have no sort of power. Is this a figurehead? Is this something where
especially because this is her first ruling on a play.
First, right? And if they want to keep this intact, they want to keep this whole system intact, they can't come out the first day and the first time they have any issues and just write her off and say, oh, well, you count, but you don't count. And I think that's what we're seeing. And if you want to go extremely heavy on it, it looks horrible if you didn't come back and she says a year, and then all of a sudden you say, no, it's 8 games. I think you got to start off heavy first and then ratchet back.
See, you said you were surprised by like how serious a event is. It's funny. It's kind of like when you and I joined the show. We were like, oh, this is going to be some small operation. And then you and I show up here and it's like all these big wigs. They're hiring coaches. They got all these kind of, and you and I were like, whoa, this is a serious operation. We're taking this really seriously. This is a lot more serious than we thought. But this is all part of the grand scheme I believe in that the league, and maybe with Deshaun Watson's camp, I don't think Sue Robinson's involved in this, is wanting to look tough, and then eventually it'll be somewhere in the middle where they can say they tried to be tougher. But ultimately, now Mike Florio, I never missed a chance to rip Mike Florio, he wrote about this story from the AP. What's the name of the guy who leaked this?
Rob Maddie.
Yeah.
Maddie, thank you.
Rob
Maddie.
I think
Mahdi. And so Florio's speculation was that the NFL just put this out there to con Sue Robinson, because if Sue Robinson, his theory is that Sue Robinson is going to be afraid that the NFL is going to go too hard, and so she's going to give no punishment, and then the NFL can't do anything. So the NFL is putting this out there to make Sue Robinson think that they'll let it be if she puts that there, which is stupid. She's not dumb enough to be conned by some nonsense from the NFL. I think that's ridiculous. I also think it was ridiculous to think that Sue Robinson wouldn't give any penalty at all, because it's clear that even if he has committed no crimes, it's clear Deshaun Watson has violated the rule about conduct, in terms of the league. His lawyers already admitted that. Rusty Harden has already admitted that. So there is going to be a suspension, and this got out for whatever reason, but I don't think it's to con Sue Robinson into thinking they will accept this number,
right?
And not try to appeal.
I don't give Florio's report any credence at all. The nugget here is what the AP is reporting. And Brad, I want you to address this because you do a lot of negotiating in your other job.
I'm sitting here bubbling. Right
I know.
Here.
What's fascinating to me here is that the commissioner is using the Associated Press to get his message out. And I think it's fascinating because you usually don't see football-related stories leaked by an AP reporter. They're leaked
Right.
by Schefter,
That's
or
true.
Josina Anderson, or Adam or Florio, or any number of guys. Jay Glazer.
Right.
The AP doesn't put out rumblings.
The AP doesn't.
Yeah.
No, they don't. So
Yeah.
I think the league had an internal discussion. When we want to get our word out, who do we use?
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
So clearly, to me, it's a red flag that the Associated Press is getting all this information. They're a credible source. And I think that the commissioner, what he's doing here is negotiating backwards. Because also through the Associated Press, we heard last week that the league would settle for nothing less than a 1 year
Right.
or an indefinite suspension. And now through the same source, they're saying, we'd be cool with 6 to 8. We just don't want the flamethrower that the NFLPA
right.
is going to bring out if they bring up the owners' cases.
Well, let me just jump in and just say this. First of all, it is, you stand on the train track and look down the line long enough, you're going to see the light coming because it's coming to run you over, right? This thing has all the tentacles of getting as nasty as you think it's going to get, right? So if you're worried about a flamethrower, let me just tell you, the flame is coming, right?
Unless they find a middle ground here.
The one thing you're doing from the beginning is you're discrediting Sue Robinson, right? She's a federal judge. This is an arbitration.
Retired.
Right. This is an arbitration hearing.
But it's non-binding.
No, but the NFL is going to make its case, and in its case for the suspension, which you know it has to be a long, hard suspension, or else they look like they're soft on crime. So guess what they're going to turn? What they're turning to? Now they're McGruff because they got to be tough on crime here.
Sure.
Right? And on the other side, you've got the Players Association is sitting there like this, not having it, not having it. I'm gonna tell you why we're not having it, because you got this guy, this other guy. And don't forget about that guy, right?
Sure.
That you did
all owners.
That you did nothing to. And now you want to play heavy-handed over here. So it's going deep here. And I would just tell you, Sue Robinson's going to put them in a trick bag, right? Because she's going to lay out, she's going to hear this case like any arbiter should hear it, right? And at that point, when she hears this case, she's going to make a ruling and a recommendation. And I don't care what the NFL dropped out here saying we'll take 6-8, because I don't believe them at all, because they always have been their own worst enemy. Every time the NFL has gone under is because some owner or some owners have conspired together to put themselves in
so
bad light.
So then you believe Florio's report?
I think that
you think that that's what the league's doing here?
I think they're trying to set the game. They've always tried to set the game. Right, and only.
But you think they're trying to sucker Sue Robinson?
They think they can sucker Sue Robinson.
Right.
They can't, and I don't think they'd be stupid enough to think that, though.
Sue Robinson's going to put them in a trick bag.
Let me throw you a hypothetical. I think all along, everybody that's associated with the Browns and even Deshaun Watson himself probably would have said from jump, if I could get 4 games here, I'd be thrilled.
Oh, my God, they
right?
would.
Everybody would agree with that.
Huge.
So knowing that.
Jay, even 6. By the way, go ahead, finish your point.
Well,
and then
let's just start with 4. And the reason I'm saying that is because I think Roger Goodell, and this is the way he's run the league for close to 2 decades, he is a boss. And he usually gets what he wants. So my theory here is, I think he knows all along that the Browns and Watson would have been great with 4.
Yeah.
So he just floated the number a season or indefinite, knowing that the middle ground would please everybody.
Yes.
Well, I don't think.
And I think that's what we're seeing here.
I don't know if you can please everybody in here.
There probably is a number where everybody's happy.
Let me just ask you this: does Goodell really run the league?
Absolutely.
Or is he the minion for the others?
Well, no, he runs the league, but his sole purpose is to make money.
To be clear, he's the minion for the others.
Yeah, but he's setting policy.
Every time he's tried to jump bad, they have hit him with a hammer, right? They've hit him with they've laid an anvil over his head every time.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna go with him. He raised me McGruff. I'm gonna come with another high school or educational term. You know, we all had it. The NFL Players Association is daring. Dare, bro. I'm daring you to keep going this year route, this indefinite route. Because here's the thing, he knows this. He is tied up right now because he has one of his own going through investigation right now. Dan Snyder is. Why do you think he keep telling him I ain't showing up? Them subpoenas is coming. I ain't coming up there.
They've already issued subpoenas.
The reason he's not coming up there is because it's bad timing. Because you get a juxtaposition. You can judge Deshaun Watson, Dan Snyder.
Yeah, Dan Snyder should be in jail for
Right.
refusing the subpoena.
For the record, Dan Snyder's yacht was spotted off the coast of St. Florence, France.
He's
yesterday.
avoiding
So
the-
he
he's
ain't
avoiding
nowhere
the
near the
subpoena.
country to get
So
subpoenaed.
when you talking about it, Roger Goodell is like, man, they got me on this one. I want to be tough. I want to show him, but I can't put the
I
gavel
think the
on.
negotiation last week, I think this, and we talked about it, I think the script for the play was written.
Yeah.
Roger told the NFLPA, I got to look like I'm tough. The NFLPA said, we're not accepting a year. We won't even go near a year. You will see us in court if it comes down to a year. I think they, in the absence of Sue Robinson, hammered out an agreement, and I think it's going to be 8 games.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I'll
think
tell
we're
you
going to
something.
know sooner
There's
than
a
later.
big difference. You know, we've talked a lot. We've thrown out 4 and 6 and 8. There's a big difference between those 3 numbers. Now, obviously, a year is huge, but like the difference between 4, 6, and 8 is all big. Those 3 levels. We can spend more time on that, not right now. But real quick, the first 4 games in terms of your opponents
They're all
on paper,
winnable.
very winnable games.
They'll be favored in probably all of them.
Right. Games 5 and 6, you play the Chargers, really good team, and then a mediocre team, in my opinion, in New England. But if this goes, now the difference between 6 and 8 is huge. You know what the 7th and 8th games are?
7th and 8th get real serious.
It is.
Baltimore,
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's
huge. That's a big
Yeah.
difference between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
Because those games with Jacoby Brissett, you're probably losing.
And the Browns have looked at the schedule. I think
Yeah.
they would love to get 6.
6
And the
you know,
leagues, it was interesting to me that in the league's leak, they said we would accept 6 to 8. It's interesting.
That's
to,
a
to
huge
think
difference.
But Watson is saying he's saying that I've already served a year. Isn't that
Well, no,
No, he could have technically played last
He
year.
could have
didn't
played.
wanna
It was,
play.
it was through his own doing he didn't play last year.
Well, they're saying they're using that as we want 0 games.
Yeah, that's not going to
let me
happen.
tell
Well,
you-
now that's
let me-
ludicrous
let me-
because he didn't play last year because of his own decision.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you what else you're missing, and it's just not the games, right? The games are one thing. You're looking at a power play here between players and owners.
No question.
This is the
That's
train
true.
that's coming down the track.
Yeah.
No
Who
question.
got the power here, right? You've got players on one. The owners who have always been in control say, "I've got the power," and I know we got Lenny Barker coming on here, and we've been in unions. I've been in unions. I know how the game is played. Now it's a power play here because now you have the players on the other side. Some of them are like this. We're tired of this, right? This shenanigans. We're gonna get to some level playing ground here, and that's where this is headed. And you know, the one thing about the worst entity you could have here is a group inside the dispute that is willing to go to the limits, right? All the way to the limits.
Lots of codes.
And I think the players, that's the worst fear.
And the NFLPA played that hand.
They're
Yeah.
like, we will
you
go
wanna
here.
get tough,
we will go
Yeah.
here.
We
And
want
in
to
this
open
ca-
the other cases
Right.
that involve the owners.
And in this case, they could play that hand without it being a work stop. It's not like a work stop
Yeah.
No,
situation
it's not.
where the player's already.
This has been
you know,
coming.
Yeah.
It's been coming. It's been building. And it's just unfortunate for us that we're riding along in the ship, right? But this has been coming. So
Yeah.
if he had been in Houston, it still was coming. It still was coming. So what is going to happen here? And so I'm not one that believes at the end of the day, the NFL is just going to say, "Oh, we did our thing, and it's great. The deal is cut. We're moving on." I don't believe that. No. I believe.
But Brad, I think they might have to because they're.
Jay.
You just said they're facing something different this time
Jay,
than
but they
anything
always
they've ever
owners,
faced.
the owners here. It's not Goodell. It's the owners. They're owners that live in other places that feel like we're going to stay winning.
But there are 3 owners that desperately
Right.
want
But I
this
get what
thing to
Brad's
be
saying.
settled before it goes into the public
The
view.
problem-
If they settle, the owners look weak.
The problem, they stay
Fair.
collectively together, right? I may not like him, but I'm in the ship with him, so I'm riding with him. I'll keep my mouth shut.
You want all of his dirt aired in the
well,
public?
no, because they have to stay in a position where they're winning. I
Yeah,
can't
but-
let you be the winner.
Brad,
here.
if the 600,000 email from the Washington investigation become public, they're not winning.
Well, here, have they always proven to be the brightest when it comes to outcomes?
No, but
some of them
I
think that.
think they know.
But Jay,
in this
what would those
instance-
emails change? Like everybody hates the owners. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people hate the owners. Everybody despises Daniel Snyder, but it's not.
Bull,
Yeah.
Bull, the fact that the only thing we
Yeah.
learned about the 600,000 email
Right.
was that John Gruden uses racist and homophobic language in email.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's-
There are
No,
things in
but
those
things have been
emails that the
leaking out
NFL
anyway.
does
But-
not
but-
want you to see.
Here's what
Yeah, I guess you're right, but ultimately, what would it lead to?
I'm suing you. That's
think
what
it-
it leads
Dan
to.
Snyder losing the team, number
Yeah.
one. So one of the 32 is going to be out of his current position. And you just said it.
I'm suing you.
How many people are going to come forward with lawsuits after we find out all the other stuff that was said in these 600,000 emails.
Yeah, I mean,
and by the way, they know what's in those emails.
Yeah, they do.
And the fact that the NFL has already started negotiating down, that's a sign of weakness. They were 3 days ago. The word was they were insisting on 1 year to indefinite. Today, the word is we'd be cool with 6 to 8.
And let me just give you this. Let's not act like there are people who haven't forgot about the CTE stuff. There are people that haven't forgot about the Kaepernick stuff. There's people that ain't forgot about Gruden. After you continuously go down this rabbit hole, is one after another. You can try to play the role, but all it takes is one person to say, listen, this is systematic. They've been running this way, and they got immunity because they've been operating under
it feels
immunity.
like that's never going to change. I hope you're right.
G, inside the group, there's always this group inside the Players Association. There's a group that wants to always cut the deal and make it hunky-dory for everybody. We just cut the deal and be done with it, right?
Right.
Then you have the flamethrower group, right? Then you have the apathetic group that just like, I'll go with anything, right? But then you have this flamethrower group that I don't care what it is. We're gonna throw the flamethrower at this thing because it's not. We don't like.
Yeah,
we
but
don't
the gun's back in the holster from the NFLPA. If we hear 6 games, the gun's back in the holster.
Right.
They're not firing those bullets
No.
if they don't have to.
No.
But
No.
I think they showed their hand.
Right.
They said, we're willing to go there. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, the commissioner is negotiating down from a year or indefinite to 6 or 8 games.
But here, I'm gonna just tell you,
I think the
again,
script is written.
You don't buy that the owners are really negotiating down?
I don't listen. The NFL owners have proven to be the worst. Yes, they have, right? Because they're always conspiring against something. I think you can just go back and check their own history. The other thing I would tell you, it has Sue Robinson in a precarious position because she's a woman. And if she don't come out right on this thing, she could look like she's soft on
And
crime.
it's her first ruling.
And
if they cut her off at the knees, it is a horrible look.
The league could look bad if they overrule her. She could look bad. You're right. The women.
I just
it's a
think
very tricky
I
situation.
think that these are all actors playing out a script, and
I like that.
We're
I like
just,
that.
We're just
yeah, I felt that way too. We'll see.
Yeah.